Okay, let's talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold at Real Madrid. Wait, hold on. This isn't the fairy tale start anyone expected, right? I mean, when he moved to the Bernabeu in 2025, fans were drooling over his assist numbers from Liverpool. But here we are, a season later, and the narrative feels unsettled. Why? Because injuries derailed him, because he wasn't even the undisputed starter, and because the same defensive flaws that followed him in England followed him to Spain. But now, suddenly, there's buzz again. Why? Because Jose Mourinho's back in charge. And apparently, he's into what TA brings. Wait, is this the reset button his career needed? Or is this just wishful thinking? Let's unpack this. First, the move itself. Madrid paid £8.4 million to Liverpool. That's not a small fee, but it's not a world record splurge either. They clearly saw potential, but here's the kicker. TA's debut season was a roller coaster. 35 appearances across all competitions sounds decent, until you realize he missed huge chunks of time with hamstring and thigh injuries. 7 weeks out in September? 2 months sidelined in December? That's brutal timing. How do you build chemistry with teammates, or win over a notoriously demanding fanbase, when you're constantly on the sidelines? It's like showing up to a party late, only to realize everyone's already left. And even when he played, he wasn't the clear starter. He split time with Dani Carvajal, a club legend. Which, sure, makes sense from a loyalty perspective, but also sends a message: we're not sold on you yet. Meanwhile, his defensive game, always the weakest part of his skill set, was under a microscope. Madrid fans didn't care about his 90th percentile passing metrics. They wanted tackles, discipline, consistency. Instead, they got moments of brilliance mixed with, well, mistakes that made highlight reels for the wrong reasons. Personally, I think this is where the divided opinion started. You had purists screaming about his lack of positional discipline, and modernists praising his ability to turn defense into attack in a blink. But in Madrid, where the pressure's nuclear, that divide feels louder than ever. Now enter Mourinho. Second stint. Different era. But here's the twist. Mourinho, of all people, seems to get TA. Why? Because he sees him not as a traditional fullback, but as a hybrid midfielder/defender/attacking weapon. Wait, Mourinho, the king of defensive pragmatism, loves a player who wanders into midfield. That feels unexpected. But dig deeper. Mourinho's always valued versatility. Think back to his Porto days, his Chelsea return, even at Tottenham. He loves players who can adapt, who can execute a specific role without being rigid. And TA's ability to drift into central zones, spray diagonal passes, and bend in those absurd set pieces? That's Mourinho's chessboard. He's not just a fullback. He's a playmaker with a safety net. What many people don't realize is that Mourinho's system here might actually mask TA's defensive weaknesses. If he's given license to roam forward, maybe he's not exposed in one-on-ones. Maybe Carvajal stays as the safe defensive option, while TA becomes the creative spark. It's a gamble, but Mourinho's built his career on these kinds of tactical mind games. But here's what fascinates me: TA's own mindset. He's openly said working with Mourinho is a privilege. That's not just PR fluff. This is a guy who's been criticized for being too comfortable at Liverpool, too nice for his own good. Now he's in a hyper-competitive environment, under a manager known for psychological warfare. Does he thrive under that pressure? Or does it crack him? From my perspective, this is the ultimate test of his professional growth. He's no longer the homegrown hero at Anfield. He's a £8.4 million question mark at the biggest club in the world. And Mourinho? He's the coach who'll either mold him into a Madrid legend or expose him as a square peg in a round hole. There's no middle ground here. This isn't about potential anymore. It's about proving he can deliver consistently in the biggest moments under the harshest spotlight. So what's next? Well, Mourinho's preseason buzz about TA's versatility and values isn't just idle praise. It's a signal. He's building a squad that's tactically flexible, maybe even chaotic. And if TA can stay fit, he could thrive in a system that prioritizes his creativity over his defensive liabilities. But here's the deeper issue. Real Madrid's fanbase isn't patient. They don't care about project players. They want trophies. So if TA is not lighting up the pitch week after week, the backlash will be brutal. This feels like a pivotal summer for him. A full preseason under Mourinho? That's gold dust. But will it translate to the starting 11 when the games actually matter? One thing's certain, his next chapter won't be boring. What do you think? Is Mourinho the coach to unlock TA's full potential? Or is this just a temporary hype train destined to crash? Let's debate it in the comments.